bad. Hey friends, Brian Davis Races, and you can too. Today we are at the Cheesehead Roubaix. It's a beautiful town of Newburgh, Wisconsin. It's about an hour and 20 minutes from my house. Gorgeous area to ride. Super excited for today. It's not a race, I promise. It's not a race. It's a ride. But anyway, it's not a race. It's a ride. So excited to get out and mix it up with some other humans today. So very much looking forward to it. It was going to be cold, windy, and snowy, and as you can tell, that did not happen. So it's 40 some odd degrees. It's gorgeous. There's hardly any wind. There's a lot of people doing the ride. It's free. You just make a donation to the local fire department. Welcome to the 2019 Cheesehead Roubaix. Now, this was not a race, but you know, when you get 3 people on bikes that are mostly men, then a race usually happens. But I just wanted to come down here to have a fun ride. That was my mission. So it was, well, that wasn't totally my mission. Let me back that up. The first race of the season was canceled, so I was trying to get some real-life power with other people, just sort of test my legs and see what training road was happening. So let's get into it. This is the first section of gravel. The ride itself is broken up into a few different sections. There's a couple of miles of asphalt to get to this first gravel section. This first gravel section is by far the most gnarly of all the sections. I hesitate to call this gravel. I guess it's really more of a trail. Luckily, it had not rained here recently. Now, the night before the race, the ride, it was supposed to snow in this area, but it did not. It missed this area. But enough people were contacting the race organizer that they put out a notice that it was still on, rain or shine. So I did this ride a few years ago, and it's a blast. So a couple years ago when I did it, I had road tires, and this section was brutal. This year, I kitted up my cross bike with extra wide, extra big gravel tires I bought last year for one of my videos on gravel, and that was fine, although slow. So they fill up every last half millimeter of space in my chain stays. So if I put too much power on, I can definitely scrape my frame. Not that that's on my mind, but it does happen. So anyway, this first section, I'm with the lead group. Well, everyone's in the lead group. And then this is where everything separates. So these riders up here in this red and dark blue, or red and black kit, not sure. I think it's dark blue. I think they're from Trek. Great to ride with these folks. I should probably know their names, but I don't. And anyway, we got strung out, and I really wanted to see if I could hang with the lead group. Because this is not a race, I can stay and do whatever I want and not have to worry about any sort of consequences. So my plan going into this ride was to try to stick with the lead group as long as humanly possible, and then fall apart if that's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. So this section, I guess this video is making it look really long, but it's not that long. Oh, here we're coming to the top of it. It's maybe 3 minutes of brutal power to get through this section, and then you're off the gas. And I passed a ton of people. There weren't that many people ahead of me. I went into this section pretty near the front. I forgot where the section was. I just happened to be in the front when this occurred. So now we hit the pavement, and this is interesting too. Like, even when you're racing, you hit these sections, these hills, and this would have been really the perfect time to be applying more power. Now, look what happened. I mean, I know I'm max. That for me, that's max heart rate, or really, really close to it. So I'm resting here. I'm contemplating my lot in life, but what I should have been doing is just ripping power into the pedals to catch this group ahead of me. So I reckon that if I had put in 30 more seconds of effort here, I could have closed this little gap as it is. But what really happened was this gap took me quite a while to get in contention. And in fact, I'm not sure that I would have caught it had it not been for the help of a very kind person who's an extraordinary racer in our area, actually crit national champion, Jaden Yeager. I think this is, when I flip screens here, maybe not quite, but anyway, I for sure stopped at that stop sign 100%, guarantee it. So, okay, we had a little chase group, and we put in an effort to try to close this little gap to get to the front group. Now watch this. Now, Jaden is extraordinarily powerful. I know it's not a race, but still, what a class move. Looks back, sees me, maybe a few other people, not sure who was on my wheel at that point, pulls us all the way up. I cut the footage poorly, but he pulls us all the way up, or pulls me all the way up to these first two folks, and they are the lead group at that moment. So how cool is that? Anyway, that was really neat. It is a really cool course. This is an area where there's lots of hills. It's not similar to where I live. Where I live, everything is flat. So it's nice to get some variety in this part of the state. It's only an hour and a half away from my house, so that's really handy. It didn't cost any money, although I spent a lot. I donated, and I bought some beer and hot dogs and hamburgers, which was great. That's the reason they do it. So they raise money to rebuild their park, I think is what it goes to. So here's another section of gravel. I think there's like 5 sections of gravel. None of them are over a few miles, but I believe this might be the section where things get pretty grippy for me. I'm not sure. One of the things I pulled out of this race too was just my complete and total disregard for food on longer rides. Now, I did have a Cliff Bar, but man, those things are hard to eat. I mean, they're not even hard to eat. They're impossible to eat when you're laying down power. It's just too much going on. So that occurred to me that I really need to find a better race solution. And I think that answer is actually going to be figs and dried fruit and things like that, just because it's like real food. It gives you the pop of sugar, and it doesn't take so long to chew. Like, I want something thicker than gel, because I want to chew. I want that feeling, but I don't want to deal with a Cliff Bar. It's just too much. And I know they make the little Cliff Bar cubes or whatever they are. I'm not talking about the gel blocks, but anyway, whatever. Also early on, I lost a bottle. That's unfortunate. And I'm just going to put it in a shameless plug for Backbottles here, because I did have a Backbottle on me, which totally saved me in this ride. Now, you'll notice a couple of the guys riding in the group, they have this third bottle hanging off their jersey. It is giant. It can't be that comfortable after that many miles. So anyway, shameless plug. Pick yourself up a Backbottle at backbottle.com. All right, this is where I'm losing touch with the lead group. So this is where a little chase group gathers up, and we pulled for a long time with each other. It was a fun group. I think there were 2 folks from Chicago, another veteran racer from Wisconsin, who I've raced with plenty of times at Toad. So we had a nice little chat, nice catch up, nice time racing together. So in any event, this ride was great. It was a great way to start the season. There's no pressure, so I could do all kinds of fun stuff if I wanted to. Try to stay with that lead group as long as I wanted to. Bring terrible tires and not have to worry about it. Lose a bottle, don't have to worry about it. So yeah, I mean, I think the gravel racing thing, I explored it a little bit last year on the channel. It's a lot of fun, but my concern with gravel racing, like for real gravel racing, is that you probably end up solo more often than not. And I don't know. I like riding with a group. I don't love talking when I'm in a group, but I like being with a group. I just like the speed that the group can generate. I do like talking on occasion, but when we're all putting our nose in the wind and we're getting the work done, it's kind of nice to just have dead silence. You don't get that a lot in life. So anyway, this was our group. You saw a second ago. We were pretty close to catching it, but we just were never quite able to pull them in. So be it. At the end of this video, I do a little half-hearted sprint just to see if I was going to cramp up. But interestingly, I had both cameras on this whole time. The GoPro that I bought, the GoPro 7, it's a great camera. You just can't tell if it's on or not when you're riding. And this length of an event, I can't just leave it on and hope for the best. The Garmin camera, which is what you're looking at now, just has a hard switch, so it makes life way easier. So, in any event, this was the hardest part of the race, climbing this long slog of a hill, and I was pulling for the other guys, which was, this one hurt. So here's the little GoPro section. Anyway, I was feeling good. The trainer road training seems like it paid off, so I had a really positive group ride. I had a really positive race here. feeling good for the season. The goal on this channel is to grow our sport, grow our fitness, and grow our knowledge. I hope that I delivered that to you today to some extent. If you can, please subscribe to the channel. I'll be putting out lots more race content coming up. Had a great weekend I just finished. I'll be editing that video next week, so please do subscribe. Hit the little bell icon to be notified when I pump out new stuff. And as always, I guess I don't really have an always. Anyway, Brian Davis races, and you can too.